Here's my free top that I got. It looks like it fits almost exactly. They think that because they had it stored with 4x4s that it might have got a different arch to it. But we're gonna leave it out here in the sun, and I think it's gonna lay down, and they can even screw it down. They're gonna strap it later. But I'm really happy. It looks pretty dang good, don't you think? So we put that on there, cut out the top of the van, and I'll end up getting about 1.5 feet more. My goal, yeah, it looks pretty dang good. It's hanging over a little further on the other side. Shoot, for free, that's a pretty good deal. Let me pull away from it here. Yeah, that looks like a conversion van for sure. Just got to get it four-wheel drive, jack it up a little bit, put some big tires underneath it. I think it'll be badass. Anyway, I wanted to share that with you. Hope you think it's as cool as I do. Thank you much. Hey guys, thanks for coming out. Hope you found my, I'm glad you found my channel. If you don't know who I am, I'm Dave Dixon, and my channel is Bat Builder. I'm going to talk today about my van life project. I've been working on it for a couple of years. I had it running there really good, had a lot of work done on the engine. It's a 1985 Ford E350 extended van, but what's very unusual about it, it's a 1-ton suspension setup, but what's unusual about it is that it has a 6.9 international diesel engine. This is before Ford built the 7.3. It's actually based off of the 6.9 International. But when International was building the engines, they were super dependable, expected to get like 500,000 miles, and mine has a little over 60,000 miles. So, and they're verified miles. Bought it from an 85-year-old guy, and he had it from the very beginning. His big claim to fame on it was taking his kids down to like Ensenada, Mexico in it. And I could imagine it would have been quite fun to do that. I'm going to turn it into a camper van, and we're kind of stuck a little bit because my fabricator that I work with, he's had a lot of projects coming in, and he had to move his shop, and also he has a heart issue that came up. I'm going to talk to him about it today, but I hope it's resolved. But he had to move everything from this really massive shop into a smaller shop, maybe a third of what he had before. And since I'm not on a rush on it, I don't like to say, well, I've got to have it by, June 1st. I don't like to say that when I really don't have to have it by that time. So it's been over there for quite a while. It's actually got the rear end was installed. I ended up buying a front and rear axle for it, and the front axle is a Dana 60. That's a heavy duty axle. It came off of F250, and so he's already done the rear end on it. The rear end was exactly the same as we had before, but it's geared differently, and it was in much better shape than this axle that I had. In fact, we even had a heck of a time getting the wheels off of it. It's like the lug nuts were rusted onto the lugs. So we decided to put this other axle on because it has a gear ratio of a 4.1, and the other one had a 3.54. So if I had a front axle with a 4.1, which is the 4x4 axle, and the rear axle was different ratio, they would actually spin at different rates. And that's not so good, for driving on the road with four-wheel drive high. So we decided to go ahead and replace the rear axle, and that's been done already. His worker that was working on it inadvertently, for some reason, cut all the emergency brake cables off. It was a bizarre thing to do. I guess because they do a lot of rock crawlers or Jeeps or something, and a lot of people will take off of the emergency brake. But for me, no, I did not want to take off the emergency brake. I need the emergency brakes. Sometimes I've had issues where the brakes go out, and that's what I need to stop. if you don't have that, then you're just going to run right into the car in front of you. So we're going to have to get new brake cables put on there, and my fabricator said he'd take care of that. So we have the front axle that we still need to install. I had seen him in December, and I said, it's not a big deal. He had got a big contract with a couple of these big beds that they had to build. They're like flat beds for these brand new trucks. And so I said, no, keep your guy over there on that. I'm not in a rush, but I do want to get it done at some point. But I truly am not in a rush. And it's given me a lot of time to think about what I want to do with it. And I do need the time sometimes just to roll it around in my head what I want to do. So I'm hoping to go over there and be able to do a little bit of a video inside the van, which I had done a video before, but I want to do one where I'm just talking inside the van. And I also want to start it up. I like to start it up periodically. So my ideas on the van, it has a pop-up pop top that I was able to get for I got it for free. And it looks pretty darn good. The only thing is it's not as high as what I would like to have. So what we're going to do is anchor the front down, and then we're going to lift up the back so that I'll have about 6'3" inside of the van, which I'm 6'1". So I want to definitely make sure I have that clearance inside there. So we're going to lift up the back, if you can imagine it like a box on top of the van. We're going to lift up the back, and I think I'm talking like maybe 6 to 8 inches. And then we're going to, it'll slant. So there'll be a triangular gap going down the side, which I'm going to probably, in thinking about it more and more, I think I'm probably going to fill it in with fiberglass, because I'm a big fiberglass guy. I know how to do it, and the top is made out of fiberglass. But I do want to have bracing put on the inside that will hold it up, and that's important to me because I want to be able to access the roof. I've always thought what's so cool is to be able to climb up onto the roof and then be able to put a lounge chair up there and just kind of look around and check things out. I'm thinking about putting my solar panels at a diagonal onto the side. So the beauty of the fiberglass you probably won't see unless I can get some high efficiency ones that would take up less room in a slanted area, where I can't sit anyway. So you'll also see by lifting the back up, it's going to make the flat area up there not be at an angle. It's going to be level. And I'll put some material down that'll be non-skid, maybe like a diamond plate, but made out of plastic. And I'll epoxy that to the top. I was really thinking about how I was going to insulate the top. It's just fiberglass right now, without adding a lot of structure to it or drilling through the fiberglass. I do not want to drill through the fiberglass. So I have an idea of how to make it with foam board, using that as mold, and I'll take the roof off, flip it upside down onto my flatbed, and then probably spend a week or 2 weeks, setting it up where I form it up, and then I will also create a roofing surface, and then I'll fill it with expanding foam, because I would like it to be adhered directly to it. And once I'm done, I may have to leave the foam board in there, but that will be my surface that I'll use to make it, instead of having wood up there. I don't want to put anything heavy because it would throw off the center of gravity. So as light as possible, that's what I would like to do. And that's what I plan on doing. Some of the other things that I have in mind on it was the bed. The bed would be ideal if it could go above the driver and the passenger seat. I just don't think I'm going to have enough room up there. So that may be more of a storage for me, and I've noticed some people have done that as a storage. Also, I want to keep the actual roof that's right above the driver and passenger seat. And it kind of makes it feel like it's still original, when you've got the headliner and everything right above you. And then I'll just create a cabinet up above there where I can slide in my clothes and stuff. So that being the case, I don't want to have the bed in the back where you could see it. If somebody were to come up there and I got the knock, I don't want them to be able to see me. It's a window van, so I want to have all the windows open all the way around me, so as I'm driving I have great visibility, and it would be so nice to go through national parks with that kind of a van where I can see all the way around me. So I have an area that's in the very back that'll probably be lifted the highest, and in that area I would like to build a bed area, like a bed loft. So it would be built up so that the roof would be the roof of the bed, and it would be enclosed on the sides. And then in the fiberglass, I think it'd be really easy for me to put some long oval type windows in it that could slide open so I could get ventilation up there. And then I want to have a electric heater and a cooler up there, and then that would also be my access to the roof. So I've really thought about this quite a bit, and whenever I go over there I'm always measuring things. I've drawn it all out a couple of times, and I just have a lot of different ideas on how I want to build this thing. My timeline to build it is 3 years. I've got to build it before March 2028 is my goal. So once I get the four-wheel drive installed, I'll be driving it every week and just making sure and going through some stuff. I've replaced just about everything, but I still want to replace, well, the batteries are relatively new, but I do want to replace them with nickel cadmium batteries. It has 2 of them to start the diesel engine. So instead of having a set of batteries in the back, I want to use the batteries that I have now, but make them set up for, lithium. Make them so that they're lithium batteries, and then that way I can actually use them as part of the charging system for the solar. And then I also plan on having like a little wind fan up there, like a turbine. I found one that I really like, and that's another idea. I need to have a center where I've got a lot of gauges so that I can see how much how much electricity is being created. And then I want it to be stealth. So my idea on the stealth is I'm planning on making it the color of a Amazon van. You know, I love that color, and so I'm planning on making the whole thing that color. But instead of having Amazon down the side, I might have something more like the name of my church, and then it has to be kind of like it's a van that they're using to transport people. And so that's my idea on that. It's just the idea of a stealth thing. Also, I'm looking at, I want to put boxes on it, and the boxes are going to be aluminum boxes on the back of the doors. And I plan on cutting through the door that I have there now, and then installing the boxes so that the lid part of it would be on the inside of my van. So that's one thing I'm still thinking about, and I have a good idea of how I want to do it. But I want to make them pretty semi-permanent, and then I will have to find a place to relocate the tire because it's on the back door. And then the last thing I was thinking about was dualies. So I have a 1957 GMC that I bought. That will be my next project that I take into the shop. It's kind of sitting on the side, and I'm doing a lot of collecting of parts. Like I bought some new fenders for it. The hood is being all reworked. I have the front grille, it's all been re-chromed. So it's a matter of getting it all back together. But one interesting thing about it is it came with dualies. So the dualies are really unusual in that they're not very wide. I would say they're probably like 7 inches wide. And so it has 2 tires on it and dualies with what's called a split rim. It's an 8-lug pattern, so it will fit my Ford. And then it also, on that 57 GMC, has an aluminum Alcoa rim on the front. And so since my van is going to be 4x4, I would like to put the Alcoa rim on the front of my van. That's my plan right now. Things could change. I like the idea of the Alcoa rims because they're so lightweight, and it'll make it so that when the wheels are spinning, you have less inertia from, like, say, heavy rims. Mine is going to be a little bit easier because it'll be so much lighter. And then if I can get the rear axle that I do have is a dually axle. So we had to move the leaf springs inboard so that we could get the axle to fit in there. But now I'm not super sure on how far, what kind of distance we have from the mounting plate to where the springs are. But I do have a dually that I can use as a test. And once I put it on there, you know, if I have an inch, that'll be great. That's what I'm going to keep. If I had 4 inches, then I might make the rim larger. If I have no inches, then I may have to go narrower, or I may have to put a spacer on it. My goal is to get 2 dually rims on there and still not go out past the original body. So I don't know if you've seen some of these Sprinter vans, but the Sprinter vans, a lot of them do have dualies on them, and they don't go past the body. So it requires that you have a smaller axle and a dually axle, which I have, and it's just a matter of that spring, how far the spring is from the mounting plate. So I'm going to take the wheel off of my 57 GMC, and I'm going to put that on there so that we can see that we'll have enough space and that everything will fit underneath there. So I'll have a 4x4 dually, and the dually is really going to be nice if I go out somewhere and say I get a flat on one of my tires in the back, then I still have enough. I still have another tire so that I can make it out of there and make it to wherever I have to go. So not only do I have that, but also it's going to be able to carry more weight because it being a dually, also more stable if I'm towing a trailer or a vehicle behind me. So that's my idea on that. I have all the stuff to do it. I've just got to get it all together. So that's what I was going to talk about today, and keep it around a little around 15 minutes. I'm going to do another video when I get there, and I'll probably talk about my I'll probably talk about my last item that I'm going to do. Thank you for dropping by, and thank you for hanging out, and I really appreciate you. And subscribe if you can so we can stay in contact. And if you have any other ideas, I'm more than open to listen to them. Thank you much, and have a great day.